Oye, te habla tío Sabio Vega. This is Sabio Vega and you watching True Heel Hit a mi manera o para la calle.
Hello everyone, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley wishing a nice day to everyone there, right there at True Heel Heat. Yeah!
Hey guys, it's Rosa and welcome to True Heel Heat.
Yo, what up? You know what it is. It's your boy AJ Francis reporting to you live from New York City, the birthplace of hip hop. And I'm telling you that I'm only tuned in with True Heel Heat Wrestling. Holla at me.
Hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are live on the True Hill Heat YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter for our Dark Side of the Ring Season 6, Episode 10, Becoming Muhammad Hassan review, discussing the final episode of Season 6 of Dark Side of the Ring as only we can. And to do that, I am joined by my co-host extraordinaire, the princess of all the true heels, Miss Krissy Love. How are you doing?
What's happening, peeps? What's going on? Yes, justice for Muhammad. I agree. I absolutely agree with you on that. And that's not even his real name, but yes, justice for Muhammad. He's not even like from Iraq or whatever. I love how Jim Cornette breaks it down and says, that's not even where he's from.
He's Italian.
He's Italian. It's like, and y'all made him this guy. But anywho.
Great Vince McMahon idea that was.
Poor guy. Like, but what do we know, right?
But yes, we are here to discuss season 6, episode 10, the finale of season 6, Becoming Muhammad Hassan. We appreciate y'all for joining us live. Appreciate y'all if you're watching us on demand. Either way, show your appreciation back. The simplest way possible is by dropping a thumbs up on this video. You can also share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, and family on all your favorite social media platforms. If you are new to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell to stay notified for all the great content here. And of course, you can sound off in the live chat if you're joining us live. We appreciate y'all for joining us for all of our Dark Side of the Ring season 6 reviews this year. And definitely been enjoying the conversation that y'all been having in the live chat. So of course, if you're feeling generous, you want to give back to what we do here, you want to show your support to our Dark Side of the Ring reviews so we can continue on into season 7, you can send a super chat donation. Any dollar amount matters. It goes back to the contributors that you see on screen with us here. It goes a long way to help the channel grow and move forward. So we always appreciate the support. And if you're watching us on demand, which we get a lot of people who watch our Dark Side of the Ring reviews on demand, comment down below and let us know what you thought about Dark Side of the Ring season 6, episode 10, Becoming Muhammad Hassan. Shout out to those who commented under our Daphne episode. We had a long comment that kind of broke down some stuff that was involved in that. That was an interesting conversation, interesting feedback that we got from there as well, giving us more detail. So we always appreciate those as well. But we got plenty people in the chat already. Goku, one of our favorites, who's been joining us for most of our reviews this year. He says, what's good, True Heel? He says, at least the season ends on a happy note. He also says, we got an Italian and a Persian playing Arab Americans only in wrestling. Only in America and only in wrestling. Indeed. Yep. Greg Carter II says, hello, SB3, Krissy, and chat. Yes. Yeah, like Goku said, I'm happy that we had a happy ending to close off the season, especially considering how sad the previous episode
one was. Yes, absolutely. But nevertheless, it had some sad parts in this episode because it was just like, but overall, good way to end the season. Yes, I agree.
Yes. But yes, we're going to talk all about it. Of course, if you have any thoughts that you want to discuss, we got Zach in the chat as well saying hello, SP3 and Krissy and chat. Good to see you. But yes, we're going to go into it straight ahead. Becoming Muhammad Hassan, the final episode of season 6 of Dark Side of the Ring. The episode starts with them with a narration from, of course, Chris Jericho, who talks about how the WWE was on fire in the 90s, but was struggling in the 2000s after the loss of Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. Jim Cornette, who has been here pretty much, I think, like every episode has had Jim Cornette. Yeah. Or at least it's felt like every episode's had Jim Cornette.
I think so too. Yeah, for sure.
He's here once again, and he talks about Ohio Valley Wrestling and how it was the training ground for WWE's future at that time in the 2000s. And he mentions the great names that came up there, the 2002 class, which is considered one of the greatest classes of developmental talent ever, with Brock Lesnar, Batista, John Cena, Shelton Benjamin, Randy Orton. He was also the trainer for Mark Compane, who would become the future Muhammad Hassan. And Mark Compani is actually here, and he notes that he was always athletic and played sports, so it combined everything for him in the world of professional wrestling. We got one of my favorite mid-card acts of the 2000s is here, Krissy Love, the masterpiece, Chris Masters, as he talks about Mark's character in OVW. He was smug and arrogant, and he mentions Mark was the OVW champion at one point. He credits Jim Cornette for getting to a point where he would be called up to the main roster. Jim Cornette mentions that he got a call from the WWE office and they wanted Mark to play an Arab. And he's like, he's Italian from Syracuse.
Gotta love him, man. You gotta love him.
Mark says he didn't know how he felt about it at the time, but he saw it as a big opportunity, as not everyone had a character waiting for them. Cornette mentions Mark had a darker complexion and dark hair, so he could look like a stereotypical Arab villain in a movie. Mark tells his family, and they had concerns. We see early videos of,
Rightfully so.
well, yeah, at this time because it's the mid 2000s, and we're coming off of 9/11 and everything from that. Like I tend to try to forget that time, but damn, like the resentment towards Arab Americans lasted a very long time after like
Too long. Way too long. Way too
very
long.
long time. Yes.
And they didn't have anything to do with it. That's the sad part. Like,
yo, like I'm not gonna front, yo. Like some of these Muhammad Hassan promos, he was spitting facts on them.
He's like, yeah, when he didn't, once he wasn't blaming everyone else, he was really telling the truth of like how everything was going about. Like, it's not me. I was born here. I'm American. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hello. But what are you gonna do?
We see early video of the character during his time in OVW, and the character was a response to the 9/11 attacks that happened just a few years earlier. We got some news footage from New York City from the 9/11 attacks, and Mark talks about where he was when it happened, and he talks about how WWE went on air just a few days later, and it was a defining moment for him. It was something positive when everything around seemed negative. We get John Pollock, who is a journalist and the head of Post Wrestling. Shout out to John Pollock, who I thought was a nice inclusion here. We usually only get Dave Meltzer as like the usual journalist covering this stuff, but since it's in like the 2000s, we got maybe like a younger journalist to talk about it in John. And he mentions the WWE was rallying around the country and pushing patriotism. We get some footage from different stuff that they did around the time, especially in 2001, like Unforgiven 2001, where Kurt Angle won the WWE Championship. We get some news footage about Osama bin Laden. And Chris Masters brings up how everyone was on edge about terrorists. Maven is here. Maven Huffman, the star of his own YouTube channel. Shout out to Maven, who says that in 2004, 9/11 was still fresh on the minds of a lot of people. The boy saw the Hassan character and knew he was going to get heat. We also see that Sean Davari was an independent wrestler that was signed to be alongside Hassan as his manager, and he was able to speak Farsi. And we get some old interview footage from Sean, as he is now a WWE producer. So no way he was going to be part of this, of course. He talks about getting
he need his job.
It's like, I will not be talking about that. He says, I respectfully decline. That's basically what he told them. And this is so true, Goku. Yes, Chris Masters looks practically the same from what he looked like back in 2005. That man has not aged. He has aged well. He has not aged at all in a lot of senses. Goku says also, we know what Vince's mind is like. Vince said his mind is like 3 computers. Yeah, he's thinking about the Muhammad Hassan character. He's thinking about how much money he's going to count when he gets home. And he's thinking about sex. Usually that third computer is always thinking about sex. It is what it is. Sean talks about getting the call and being pitched the idea, and the characters were tried out in OVW. Cornette says that it was a Vince McMahon idea, which meant that it would be given a chance to go as far as possible, which is not that far. When you really consider this whole episode is like talking about a career that lasted from his debut to the final appearance. It lasted about 7 months, Krissy.
Is that how long this? I thought this was like maybe like a year, 2 years. So this only lasted like 7 months. Wow.
He debuts in December of 2004, and his final match is in July of 2005.
Wow. Okay, well.
So Mark says he grew up on like Hulk Hogan, Randy Macho Man Savage, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. He brings up Ivan Koloff and Iron Sheik and how the early Muhammad Hassan character was similar to that. Things started to change when they filmed the vignettes for the character on the main roster. We get Michael Lombardi, former WWE writer and producer, and he talks about vignettes and how they introduce new characters.
Mm-hmm.
The idea was he was an American character that was of Arab descent and is discouraged with what what has happened to his friends since 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
The idea was his nationality didn't make him a villain, and he was more than a stereotype. I remember the first like Muhammad Hassan vignette, they just caught you off guard. You didn't like at first you didn't even really know at the time that this was going to be a character on wrestling. I thought it was like a commercial at first until like they added like music and everything else. Like it was very much like a real person talking about like Arab kind of like racism being shown towards them ever since 9/11. I thought the vignettes were so well done. Like it's when you realize this is a wrestling character, I honestly, even at I think I was like 17 at that time, I instantly was like, okay, this character, this is gonna work. This is gonna work. He could be the top heel in the company because he's gonna get heat and he's spitting some real facts when he's talking too. But they talk about how things changed the day before his debut, when Todd Grisham and Ivory were on Sunday Night Heat and mentioned that Muhammad Hassan was debuting the next night on Raw. Ivory asked Grisham how he was getting there, and he told her he was driving. She said, "Good, because I don't want you to be flying if you get my drift."
That was the most cringing thing I could have ever heard. That's why I wasn't watching wrestling back then.
I understand.
All of this stuff I missed. So to watch this over, I was like, "This is what I missed." Okay.
Yeah.
That first of all, that was a stupid line. I think she was trying to be funny, but it didn't land right.
Yeah. yes. Maven's famous way that he opens every video he does. Hey guys, Maven here. So he said, "Hey Vice, Maven here." Yes, indeed. He's a funny one. Power Driver Finisher says, I've seen Masters recently and legit looks like a Greek statue. Guy looks like he could have another run. I've said for years that Chris Masters is still in great shape and he could probably have a run with any of these companies and still contribute in a way just off of the way he looks. Mm-hmm. I never thought he was like the greatest in-ring wrestler, but I thought he got better, especially in his second stint with WWE in the 2010s. Yeah, because he was 21 when he debuted on the main roster. Wow. Like Goku says, and Goku says that's wild, having since 9/11 as a catchphrase. Yeah, since 9/11, when they did the cuts of all the times he said since 9/11. The debut happened on Raw in Huntsville, Alabama, where Mick Foley is thanking the troops. Hassan interrupts and contradicts everything that Mick just says, and instantly the fans were instructed to hate the character. The idea Vince was trying to tell a complex story went right out the window. And Cornette says that they worked with the fans because they didn't like hearing America didn't have all the answers. And then we get another one of like, he became one of my favorites, like in retrospect. At the time, I hated him when he was in wrestling, but I was supposed to because he was a heel. But Gene Snitsky is here. And man, this man's beard, he's got the grayest beard and the biggest beard ever. He can't remember anyone getting that much heat since the Iron Sheik. He says it was crazy. It's wrestling. And he says people wanted to kill Hassan. And eventually WWE would do that. We get Goku, who says Muhammad Hassan doing "You the People" speech was actually justified. Yes, justified "You People" promo. Absolutely, absolutely. And yes, I agree. Gene Snitsky being a part of, I was like, they got all the guys who were over as mid card heels in the mid 2000s to be on this one episode. Did you ever see Gene Snitsky either from watching it back or when you started watching again?
I don't remember. And
Okay,
so a lot of people I know Maven's. I didn't know who the other guy was that you talked about for that.
Chris
which
Masters.
Was Chris Masters. I've seen
Well,
him,
the
but I didn't know
masterpiece was
Yeah.
just like he had the Greek god body, so he would do like poses and stuff like that when he came out. And his whole big thing was he had the Master Lock challenge, which was like the full Nelson challenge, like an old school thing where he would put people in the full Nelson, and whoever broke out of it, he would get fans sometimes, and they would try to break out of it, but he would just yoke them up pretty much. I think the first person that ever broke the Master Lock was Bobby Lashley. He had like a stint in like the mid 2000s. He had a tag team with Carlito where they faced Big Show and Kane at WrestleMania 22 for the tag team titles.
Okay.
He was also one of the last participants that John Cena eliminated in the Elimination Chamber at New Year's Revolution 2006 before Edge cashes in for the first time. So
okay.
That's like a lot of his bigger stuff that he did during his first run. Gene Snitsky, he's famous for the first storyline that he was ever in. So this was back in like 2004, where Gene Snitsky basically was in a matchup with Kane, and this was like one of his first matches in, and Kane was in a relationship with Lita. Where basically,
okay, I remember him being in a relationship with Lita. I was like, Lita was just passed around back then.
Basically, it was a love triangle where with Lita, Matt Hardy, and Kane, where Kane basically I don't want to say the word
before she went with
it might get us monetized, but she was R-word by Kane, and he impregnated her. Yeah.
Oh, now that part of the story I did not know.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
But Kane would.
What was Vince doing back then?
Yo, Vince was wild back then. So Kane basically.
And back then, of course, they didn't really like have the stuff that they have now. So he got away with a lot of shit.
So Kane writes Matt Hardy out because Matt Hardy gets injured in real life. So he beats him up, writes him out, and then eventually Lita and Kane, because Kane turns babyface, they start like actually in a relationship where she's pregnant and stuff. And then Gene Snitsky basically knocks her down, and basically she has a miscarriage with the baby.
And she loses the child. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, and his whole gimmick is that he kills babies, basically. That's his whole gimmick. That's
I know you lying.
And his catchphrase was, "It's not my fault." Yes. This was a legit storyline in 2004.
Okay. Interesting. Got it. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and he did a famous scene where he punted a baby toy into the crowd because he kills babies. Yep.
And you know what, Vince definitely he got a straight ticket to go somewhere else, and I don't know. And I'm just letting you guys know that he's definitely not going to whatever you believe in, afterlife stuff. But yeah,
I legit just want to have a show where I just explain these mid 2000s storylines to Krissy. This is awesome.
Like, what? And you say he punted a whole like child, like baby in the crowd?
Yes.
Like a football?
Please let me know if you want to see a show where I explain mid 2000s storylines to Miss Krissy.
Because again, I didn't watch back then. I stopped. I graduated high school. I was going to college, and I didn't have time. I had a job, so I would always miss, Monday Night Raw. And I didn't have, we didn't have devices where we can like rewatch stuff. You either record it or you had like to like buy like a TiVo, and that's not even. I don't even think that even came out yet. To be honest, I don't even think they had like DVRs and all that stuff yet, or TiVo or whatever that came out.
It was like this. Like in high school, I was still watching it for the most part, because then I would eventually meet my friend Marcus Cash, who used to be on the channel, and Jimmy Macaram. Where I met them in high school, and they were still watching wrestling. So then I would start watching, like, occasionally I would watch like a Monday Night Raw, and this was the type of stuff that was on at that time when I was 16, 17.
That's nuts. That is crazy. But yeah.
Next time I'll explain to her how Kurt Angle wanted to have bestiality sex with a wrestler's wife. So that's what I'll explain next time. There you go. We got
you're not gonna just roll that over my head and just keep talking about Muhammad Hassan. Like, wait,
Kurt Angle was in a rivalry with Booker T, and this was when Booker T
wanted to go after Sharmell.
Yes, this is when he first started having Sharmell in his corner, and Kurt Angle cut a promo where he said he wanted to have bestiality sex with Sharmell.
Boys and girls, if you don't know what bestiality is, I suggest you Google it. We can't really like go into it, you know, want to get like, you know, banned or like, you know, taken down or whatever. Yeah. But I know what that means, and why would Vince think that that's okay?
We got 2 votes. We got 2 votes for this becoming a show. Just explain. You just have to tell me the years that you did watch wrestling, and then I can just come. I'm gonna start doing that in the flagship too. I'm just gonna randomly explain. That's going to be a recurring bit on the flagship show. This is just me and you this week on the flagship. I'm going to have, so tell me the years, and I'm going to come with one on the flagship on Saturday. Tell me the years that you didn't watch wrestling.
Okay, so I didn't watch from 2000. I graduated in 2003 from high school. So give or say mid 2004 to, I want to say, 2014.
Oh my God, you're giving me 10 years? Oh my God, I can come up with some good. Yeah, there's gonna be a bit.
I would only watch like WrestleMania. That's the only thing I would watch, just to like, you know, go back and forth just to see like what it was, because I had to, because of my birthday and the way it would go. But other than that, I didn't know what the fuck was happening. Some of them I was just like, what is going on here? Like, who are these people? And then I was just like, why did I spend my money on these things or whatever?
I took like the one big break that I took was from like 2005 through 2006, like from WrestleMania 21 to WrestleMania 22. I took a long break, but I went back and watched it after, because in 2006, that's when I went with my boy Steve Stash, and he was watching wrestling when I got my first like real job out. Yeah, when I got my first real job outside of high school, I met him, and he started watching wrestling, so I started watching again, went back and watched everything that I missed from 2005. So I got a lot of stuff I could go into. So you just set up a new recurring bit on the True Hill Heat flagship podcast.
I think the last thing I remember,
see if we could develop it into a show.
Okay, that's fine. The last thing I remember was Eddie Guerrero and China being together. What else? I'll get back to you, but yeah, he said yes, please. Okay, Lewis, really? Oh.
Everybody wants to
see. Okay, I wanted to see my reactions. Okay, got it.
Chuck Berry says, yeah, Kurt Angle had a thing for black women. He did. He would get rid of Raka Khan in TNA. Oh, I can explain some TNA ones to you too. Oh,
I never watched TNA. I'm so sad I never got to watch. I missed that whole era. I'm really, really sad about. I would see like the whole thing like online. When we didn't have I didn't have that channel, first of all, and two, I would see that they had a different shape ring, and I was like, oh my God, this is this is different. And you don't want to be like the other guy, so this is cool. Well, there was only one guy, one guy at the time, and then there was New Japan, but I didn't know about that stuff. So yeah.
All right, so this is the hook for this week's Flagship podcast. So everybody watching, if you're watching on demand, if you're watching live, join us live, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time, Saturday, Flagship podcast. I will explain to Krissy Love the Claire Lynch storyline from TNA. Let me know what you think about that. Don't spoil anything in the chat, but let us know
I won't
if
even
you are
Google it.
interested in
I will
seeing
wait.
me explain the Claire Lynch storyline from
You
TNA.
have to tell the producers all of this. This is gonna be some good shit. I feel like, because I feel like I'm like not even ready for this. I'm not ready.
All right, let's talk about the rest of this episode here. We come back with news footage of President Bush talking to the troops in the Middle East, and the WWE shows in Iraq with the tribute to the troops, and we see the military at the shows. Then you have Muhammad Hassan telling people that he isn't the bad guy, and people don't know what it is like to be like him. He talks about Americans ganging up on him and other Muslims. And Mark says that people don't like being shown their own flaws. Mark says that he was raised to not judge people by the color of their skins. And he was told what his grandfather went through as an Italian American, and mentions what Japanese Americans went through during World War II. John Pollock talks about the history of the evil foreign heel in wrestling and how it goes back nearly 100 years. It is easy to tap into our tribalism as humans. And they bring up how Vince tried something similar in 1991 with Sergeant Slaughter, turning a former G.I. Joe and Army vet into an Iraqi sympathizer. Vince believed that it would sell out the LA Coliseum, 100,000 seats in that building, and they barely sold 10,000 seats a few weeks
Jim
before the
Cornette
show.
was dropping some dimes. I was like, oh, word, they WrestleMania 7, which was, the only good thing about it was the Miss Elizabeth and Macho Man part. But everything else on the whole card was like not that good.
No. WrestleMania 7, it's just the Macho Man versus Ultimate Warrior, and then the post match with Warrior and Savage. That's the only thing worth a damn on that show.
Yep. That's the best part of it all. As a kid, you thought it was, good, but when you go back, you rewatch, you was like, yo, this is some bullshit. Like,
yeah. I mean, I do remember from the Hogan and Slaughter matchup, Hogan had one of the greatest crimson masks I ever remember. He was bleeding when he does the shake it up, when he's hoking
and it's
up
all
and
blood.
the blood,
yes, the blood is all,
just going everywhere. I still remember that.
Yes. It was good. Again, when we were 7 and, you were what, 5?
1991, I was like 3.
Okay, see,
when I watched it, I was like 4 or 5. Yeah.
Okay, so see, that's what I'm saying. Like when we're that little, we're like, oh my God, this is like so good. Hulk Hogan is gonna beat him. He's gonna win. Yay! I'm like, the whole American flag bullshit. Like I didn't know no better. You know what I'm saying? But hey, right now it's crap. And they couldn't even barely sell out that arena. They kept saying sold out arena. Lies. You were liars, then telling lies about you selling tickets. Liars. Sorry, Go ahead. I feel triggered.
The WWE wanted Mark to portray the character at all times. It gave him a taste of what it was like to be an Arab American in the U.S. He tells the stories of fans calling loved ones when they were on planes and parents taking their kids off the plane. He tells a story of working in Australia, and they were approached by a group of Arabs at a bar. And they were angry because they knew Mark was not Muslim. It made him realize there were a group of people they could be offending with this character. It didn't escalate as he had Gene Snitsky and other giant wrestlers, 6'10" guys around him. But it was the first time that he started to question the character. Hassan's success doesn't sit well with others in the back, though. He talks about being 24 and green, and he didn't know how to behave. Chris Masters mentioned some guys had been working years and never got a push like that. Meanwhile, Gene Snitsky mentions that they would test guys to see if they could make it. And in a lot of cases, they would run guys out of the business.
You have a picture of Gene?
Yeah. Gene Snitsky.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's a heel phrase. Look at that. So Maven brings up an episode, basically one situation where Hassan was using the camel clutch, and Kurt Angle told Muhammad that Eddie Guerrero also uses the move, and when a guy escapes Eddie's camel clutch, it makes his camel clutch look weak. Mark goes up to Eddie and asks him if he should be using the hold. And Eddie tells him he has always used it because his father invented the hold.
See, it's first of all, shame on Kurt Angle for doing such a fucking thing.
Yo, Kurt Angle set him up for that.
Yeah, I'm about to say Kurt Angle is trash. You know, Kurt Angle is definitely trash for doing some shit like that. And then for Eddie to go back and tell him that his dad y'all trolls.
I mean, I have to do research on Lucha Libre wrestlers for an article on Sports Illustrated. His dad started wrestling in 1937.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's possibly true.
Yeah, it is actually true that he did.
No, I'm not. I wasn't saying it's true. I was like, just that, you know, they're such trolls, and and everyone stole it from his dad and won't never give his dad any credit, because you'd think that it was like, you know, from other people that use the move. But whatever. Yeah. But Kurt Angle is straight trash for that. He's gonna get punched in the face. So.
And so Mark feels like a jerk, and it ends up being a story all the boys tell, and it leads to basically Mark being it's like goddamn, this kid can't win.
Hazing in college. You can't win.
Yeah.
He was hazed.
It is very, very much like you're getting hazed, because it wrestling, what always what's been described to me is that the locker room is like a fraternity. So yeah, it's basically you're getting hazed.
Because you got people that be back there like Zoe Stark that don't do shit all damn day, but then you have Muhammad Hassan that comes and he getting pushed and he's getting played out there and he's doing a great job, and then you got haters like her that don't work at all. And they're like,
How did this become the hate on Zoe? How do you keep doing this? You can't keep getting away with this.
I was using it as an example. I was just using it as a reference so that you understand where I was coming from as far as to why he was hazed, and the people that be sitting in the back that come to work but don't get to work, if that makes sense. And I know I'm right, and it's okay. You know I'm right, but it's okay.
Can't keep getting
I don't
away
understand.
with it.
Like, why do I have I'm here as a reference to just tell y'all and compare the facts of what was happening. He was hazed, and they didn't do you know what? I'm going on mute. Goku
says Kurt Angle was baiting him.
See?
And
it's his fault. It's Kurt Angle's fault.
Goku says, "Hey, you're probably wondering how I got here." He's like sitting in Wrestler's car, and he's like, probably wondering how I got here. Let me tell you this story. So yeah, he winds up in Wrestler's court. Mark felt horrible and told his father that he wanted to just fly home from the tour, but his father told him to face it. Masters mentions Taker was the judge, jury, and executioner of Wrestler's court.
See what I'm saying?
It is definitely. He's the head of the fraternity. He's the head of the fraternity there.
And he gonna make sure that this boy that was only pushed by Vince and probably Bruce Pritchard and the other man that was the Bella's stepdaddy, but now he not. But whatever, him. I can't remember.
Don Laurinaitis.
That one, him. And him, Don. And y'all mad because I'm getting a push, and y'all come to work every week, and no one want to push y'all. It's not my fault.
Mark had to buy over $1,000 worth of drinks, and he says that some guys
for that week, yo.
No, I think it was a little bit more. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe a little bit more. You never know. But again, you didn't count his rental, his hotel fee, because they're not paying for that. They got to pay for all that, don't they? Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I got to
Maven recently said that he was shocked when AEW wrestlers told him that they get their stuff paid for.
As they should. Hello. Why should I have to pay for my room and board when y'all want me to come from city to city? You got to pay for my lodging, not me. I work for you. Continue. I'm sorry.
So he had to buy $1,000 worth of drinks, and he says
Did y'all
that
ever
some
make
guys
Zoe Stockpay buy y'all drinks? I just want to know.
Oh my God. Can't
Okay,
keep getting away with this.
I'm sorry. Well, she's not buying any drinks no time soon, probably.
Mark says that some guys were just dumping the drinks on the floor, and he's like, "That's a waste. This is like premium alcohol."
Right. See what I'm saying? And Undertaker ain't shit neither. He another one.
Nah. Eddie comes over
up my
and
whole childhood. Like just ruining everything, yo.
Eddie comes over and gives Mark a hug and told him that he knew he didn't mean anything by it. Then we move on to WrestleMania 21. Mark was told he was going to do something with Hulk Hogan. And of course, this is a dream come true for him. He tells his family and friends. Snitsky says that it is like playing baseball with Babe Ruth. Hey, Real American is there. So, yeah, Terrence from Florida. Just Gene Snitsky again. We hear Real American with the we got to give a RIP to Rick,
RIP to the
Denninger.
guy. Yep. That wrote and sang it, right?
Yeah. Mark
talks that's the only reason that we'll acknowledge that part of Terrence because of the song. The song is amazing. You can't escape that. That's greatness. Unfortunately, the person that's tied to the song that you would remember the song for is a piece of shit. But here we are.
There you go. So you got some love in the chat from Chuck Berries. Keep speaking your truth, girl. There you go.
It's the only reason I'm here. Thanks.
Goku says Terrence from Florida versus Hassan. Who's the real racist? It's Terrence.
Yeah, he's laughing emoji. Yep. Thank you, Goku. See, speaking true facts. Ruin something that little kids are. The child in us that watch wrestling that loved it. Yeah.
It's like only one of us plays a racist on TV. The other is one in real life.
One is real in real life, and it ain't Muhammad. But again, this being his childhood dream, of course, duh. Like who wouldn't want to, fight and go in the ring at a WrestleMania with him?
Yeah. Mark talks about standing in the ring as Hulk Hogan's music hits and how the noise of the crowd felt like it was lifting him off the mat. He has never felt anything like it before or since. The WWE decides to take the character in a new direction, and they went more radical with the character and turned the character into a terrorist, since the fans were calling him that anyway. Mark felt the character became insensitive and was a departure from what they originally had planned. He had masked men with him doing his bidding, and he told Stephanie McMahon about his issues. She was the writer he dealt with on SmackDown, and he says that she put him in his place and basically told him, shut up, and we know what we are doing. No, they didn't. Spoiler alert. No, they didn't. They didn't know what they were doing.
I too have to now blame her a part of this foolishness because, again, I'm sure the ratings and people were telling you guys, but you was like, just ignore it. It'll go away. Like, it'll get wiped. Yeah, no. Trash.
Yeah, and I did notice, like, because he was on a good path. Like, I don't think you had to kind of
make him radical, right?
Like make it too much of like going into him being a terrorist. If he's a vindicated heel who's speaking a lot of facts, I think that is more of an effective heel than him feeding into what the fans are calling him.
Yes, I think that is well said. Let him be the heel that you guys wanted him to be. Don't turn him into the racist or heel person that America is hating at this point of the, in that time. And he was already good at getting the heat. Like, that's the whole point of being a heel, the bad guy. That's the bad guy's job. He had the heat. He didn't need even further heat for what he was now, this whole go about and change. And I think that's where WWE always is messing up. Okay, well, we have something good. Let's just change it up now. No, it's working. It's working really, really good. Why go and dumb it down? Like that's the stuff that you'd be like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. So Mark says that the change occurred over a few months, but nothing felt distasteful until the end. Mark had little power to change anything, and it would not have looked good because others would tell him about the chance he was getting. Mark mentions about making the throat slash gesture over Shawn Michaels' throat, and he says it's okay for Taker to do it, but it was a different context when his character does it.
Mm-hmm.
Maven says that it only seemed natural, and he never once had any issue with the change in the character. He just focused on the fact that Hassan would be getting heat. Cornette says that there was a plan to push Hassan to the World Heavyweight Championship. He started an angle with The Undertaker, and it was building to a number one contenders matchup at the Great American Bash. Mark says the idea he was told was he would beat Taker at the Great American Bash, then he would beat Batista in Washington, D.C. for the world title, the big FU to America. So that basically there he's talking about the SummerSlam 2005, which took place in Washington, D.C. So the original plan was for him to face Batista and beat Batista in his hometown of Washington, D.C. in the nation's capital as like the big FU and the culmination, him hitting kind of the peak of this Muhammad Hassan character.
Wow.
But instead, everything would change on an episode of SmackDown, Krissy Love, as you saw here. Instead, you get Taker. He squashed Daivari. And the day of the episode of SmackDown was set to air, London had a terrorist attack with explosions on buses and trains. WWE, yeah, me too. WWE made the choice to air the SmackDown as it was with a controversial angle, but would have a warning crawling across the screen. I remember that, and it was so weird at that time, too. They underestimated the amount of scrutiny it would receive. We see the match where Daivari was told he was being sacrificed by Hassan to The Undertaker, and he gets destroyed. And then Hassan falls to his knees, and a group of men dressed in black attack gear, they attack Taker and choke him with a piano wire. Daivari then puts him in the Hassan then puts him in the camel clutch, and they bring up that a year earlier 5 masked men had beheaded an American on camera.
Wow.
And WWE had 5 masked men in this angle. So the symmetry, it was too on the point. It was too on the nose.
And people are going to start to think that you are condoning foolishness like this, or you know who was doing this. Dummy.
Vince underestimated all of this. This one's an easy LVP for this episode.
Oh yes,
yes, really think
absolutely, absolutely.
And yes, Stephanie definitely did tell Hassan, "Shut up and wrestle."
She a part of it too.
Yeah. Goku, it's right too. He says, imagine Hassan beating Batista in his hometown in DC. He would have been the youngest world champion than Orton. Yeah, Orton had become the youngest world champion at SummerSlam 2004, and then 1 year later, Mark would have done that as this Muhammad Hassan character, as like the biggest heel in the business.
Yeah.
So we get all that. We get the attack in this angle. The men, they then carry Daivari out as a martyr. Cornette says that it crossed the line, and people didn't want to see that on a wrestling program. UPN was pissed and wanted nothing to do with this Muhammad Hassan character now. The WWE was branded as being insensitive. Lombardi notes that he felt they were going too far, and he told his boss he wanted nothing to do with it. He was demoted and stripped of his duties. UPN applied enough pressure that WWE decided they had to kill off the Hassan character completely. Sadly, Mark talks about how the character changed and how it was a stereotype when it started out being as an anti-stereotype. Mark mentions wanting to buy a house and talking to John Laurinaitis, Johnny Ace, and he asks what was going to happen. And Johnny, oh man, he just tells him, simply says, don't buy the house.
Right. Like, another one. I can call LVPs.
The whole WWE management.
The whole management team, the whole backstage. Yep, all of them can get it.
At that point, Mark knew he was done. The character was no longer allowed to be on TV, and he could only do one more pay-per-view, the Great American Bash 2005. The last time we saw the Muhammad Hassan character, Mark says, though, if it was the last time that he was going to be seen, it was an honor to be taken out by The Undertaker. And the match was a complete squash. We see him just getting beat up the entire time. And then Taker gives him a last ride through the stage. Mark mentions that he hit the crash pad so hard, he flipped into a standing position. They then put him down on the ground and covered him in cable wires and had blood splattered around him. He notes that he was murdered on national TV, and Cornette notes that was the last we saw of Muhammad Hassan. Mark says that the show was in Buffalo, which was his home, and he could drive to his house after the show. He didn't know if he felt sadness or relief, but he was heartbroken.
Wouldn't you? Like, you ain't got no damn job no more. And yet one of your dream jobs.
Yeah. And it's nothing you did. It was you just did your job.
You just did what they told you. Yeah, that's why I feel like that's why I said you're right with to have that caption of justice for him, because I only did my job. I was only doing what I was told to do. And when I spoke up about it, you told me to shut up and wrestle.
Everything he dreamed of was gone. Cornette says that it made no sense, as Mark did everything he was told, and Vince fucked up his career. He should have done something for the guy. Like, you're telling me he can't come back as a different character? You can't put him in a mask? You can't tell him to shave his head? Like, something.
Take your mustache off. They won't know it's you. Shave your hair down. Like, you could have easily given him something else. Y'all didn't fire the other dude.
Nah, Daivari got to stay on. It was only the Muhammad Hassan character that had to be the sacrificial lamb here. Mark says that he could not find a reason for it, and wrestling turned its back on him. He needed to change and didn't know how. Mark then explains that he moved to LA and stepped away from wrestling. He was in survival mode and dealing with depression. He says that nothing was going his way, and he mentions the character was so hot, they felt that there was no other way to bring him back as a new character. Gene Snitsky says that it was a wasted talent as he had so much to offer. Mark started having suicidal thoughts and wondered how many days he wasted. Ugh. He knew he needed to make a change in his life, so he went to college and started working nights at UPS. He eventually gets his teaching degree and he becomes a teacher and then a principal, and he doesn't waste days anymore, with a big smile on his face, he said. It took 10 years for him to appreciate the journey and not focus on how it ended. Maven feels bad for Mark because he was so talented. Mark has no grudges though, and got to live out a dream. Now he is very proud of making his dream a reality, but admits the character was not long for TV, and it shouldn't have been. Mm-hmm. He says no nationality should be stereotyped and shouldn't be on TV. And he is proud of Sean Daivari and what he is doing with WWE today, working as an agent. And he actually mentions that he talks to Sean quite often. Cornette Cornette says that Mark is probably better off with what he has been doing instead of dealing with 20 more years of this wrestling bullshit. Mark says
Jim.
he's the best. He's the best. Jim. Racist
Jim.
Jim. Mark says he would do it all over as he is the man he is today because of those experiences. He is a director of human resources in a small school district and helps out 3,000 kids a day. He talks about having second chances and his best days are in front of him, not behind him. So we end on a light note. We end on a bright note. He was able to kind of turn his life around and help others around him and really made the most of his years after pro wrestling. But I told you last week when we did the Daphne episode, and I said the way I described Muhammad Hassan, he is one of the biggest pro wrestling what ifs and missed opportunities ever.
He is. I think he not for nothing. He could have been Roman.
I mean, he had the talent for it, and like the character. If they don't do the whole angle with the masked man, that character could have been the top heel in the promotion for like years after that.
Yes, I agree. He was talented. It's not like he was a bad wrestler. He actually could wrestle. You guys just gave him a shitty gimmick, and he had no choice but to go through that.
Yeah. Good to see you in the chat, Chris. I see Chris. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, good brother. He says, yeah, good evening, all. It's been a while. I've either been busy volunteering or having a new job. It's been tiring. Really hope you both are well. Heart emoji. Yes, hope you're doing well. That's awesome. You got a new job and giving back. So that's kind of the theme of this episode is how Mark Muhammad Hassan has gave back to his community. So glad you're doing the same. But man,
yes,
like I said before, Muhammad Hassan is one of the biggest pro wrestling what ifs and missed opportunities ever.
Again, I didn't understand what it was until I watched it, and I was like, yeah, he definitely could have had a good run, and they just fumbled and like just were more worried about the shock moments and shock value, and not really caring about the wrestler himself. And you just wrote him off like he got killed by the Undertaker, and that was it. No one said anything. He just left, and I could have did something for him, but no,
he's just thrown by the wayside. He couldn't come up with a different character for him. Couldn't salvage his career in some way. They just said, no, we got to let you go. You're out of here.
Yep.
And Chris says, I don't think I was watching WWE around this time, but I remember the stuff about London more than anything was a bad time. Yeah.
Yep. He was like, we can't catch a break. Something is always happening. Why is this happening? And for them to try to capitalize off that and like make money and do foolishness and get shock value is just some fuckboy shit.
Mm-hmm. Like you should have not played the angle.
Yeah,
you should have done something else, or do the he attacked him, but we can't show the footage, something like that. I don't know what you needed to do, but it sure as hell wasn't showing that footage on the same day of the London bombing.
And even when the character first came out, like if you kept it at that same pace of what it was when he first came out and not changed it, you could have had a great heel.
Yeah, he still had plenty of heat, even despite taking some losses to like Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan and John Cena. He still had heat when he went to SmackDown, and you could have just pushed him without going so heavy into the stereotypes the way they did.
Yep.
So we already got some people putting in their votes already. We got an MVP for Mark. We got MVP for Mark, LVP for Vince McMahon, all the bootlickers. But yes, let us know in the chat what you gave this episode out of 10, whether you gave this episode a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, and who is your MVP and LVP. And give us your score from 0 to 10 for the entire season 6 of Dark Side of the Ring. For me and Miss Krissy Love for Dark Side of the Ring, Season 6, Episode 10, Becoming Muhammad Hassan in 3, 2, 1. Thumbs up across the board for both of us. Explosion for Becoming Muhammad Hassan episode. Krissy Love, out of 10, what did you give this episode?
I give the whole season an 8. I think an 8 is good for this season. We had some good ones and we had some okay ones and we had some great ones. So I think it was like a middle of where I think an 8 is perfectly for everything.
But what about this episode?
This particular episode. I'm sorry. This particular episode. I like this episode. This was good. I give it an 8. Give it about an 8.5.
I will give this episode an 8 out of 10, and I will give the whole season an 8.5 out of 10. I feel like the 8.5, it really is the last episode, the Daphne episode.
The Daphne episode with the 8.
It brought it up. That was one of the best episodes ever of Dark Side of the Ring. So
they did it perfectly.
I would make it like an 8.5. This was a nice little ending to the season that had a bright side at the end of all the dark sideness that we saw throughout this season of the series. And MVP for this episode, I'm gonna give it to Mark Muhammad Hassan.
Yes, to endure all that stuff, absolutely, Mark.
And then LVP for the episode, the McMahon family.
The McMahon family, WWE. Pritchard, all the people that was in the back telling him that he had to do this stupid shit.
Hey, to be fair, yes, I agree with Goku. Johnny Ace telling him not to buy the house is the only time Johnny has done a good thing for a wrestler. Only time. Only time.
And that's the sad part, that they said don't buy a house. And I was like, man, I'm trying to better myself, trying to live somewhere. You're gonna tell me no? Well, I mean, it probably saved his life, but still, nevertheless.
All right, now we're gonna go into some toughness. I want you to rank all the episodes of Dark Side of the Ring this season, Miss Krissy Love. What did you think? I'm gonna try to load all these pictures here to see if we can rank this properly and see what we come up with here in regards to this. So let me see if I got all these thumbnails that I can load up, see if it doesn't take me 100 days to do it, so we can go through it and rank them. I
know what number 1 is.
Well, obviously, I think number 1 is easy for this season. So as far as the ranking, in first place, definitely the Daphne episode.
Correct. Absolutely.
Daphne episode is number 1 overall. Number 2 for me, Miss Krissy Love, I'm gonna give it to the Vader episode.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it to the Vader episode. What's
what
number
was,
2?
Okay, we have to. You have the I
have all the thumbnails here. So we got.
Okay.
So you got. I think. Well, this is not in order, but these are all this season. We got the Mick Foley Hell in a Cell episode. We had the Vader episode.
Okay.
We had the Superstar Bully Graham episode. We had the Ludwig Borga episode. Tony Atlas. Eddie Hot Stuff Gilbert. The Original Sheik. Billy Jack Haynes. Daphne. And Becoming Muhammad Hassan.
Okay. Okay, Daphne's definitely 1 for sure.
Yeah, Daphne's definitely 1. I'm going
That's
Vader 2.
Vader 2.
I think I got mine. I got mine off the because I have it all here on the side here. So I'm gonna go Vader 2. Then I'll go Original Sheik. Sheik.
Yes, we had loved
came
that one.
Up because Sabu being that that's like one of the last things that we saw from Sabu.
Yes.
Then I'm gonna put these two to the same because I laughed at a lot of the stuff in it, but it's out there. The Billy Jack Haynes episode is next because that is just outrageous. The first time we've ever interviewed someone from their jail cell, and Tony Atlas, because Tony Atlas, he's a pioneer, but he's also hilarious. Then I would go the superstar Billy Graham. Then Foley, Hell in a Cell. Then I'll go before Superstar Billy Graham, I'll go Muhammad Hassan. Muhammad Hassan episode, this one. Yes. I'll go this one. Then I'll actually put Muhammad Hassan ahead of Tony Atlas. I'll put that at 5.
I would say you could do that too, because
yeah, I'm gonna put Muhammad Hassan in the top 5. That's in the top 5 for the season. Then I'll go Tony Atlas, Superstar Billy Graham, the Mick Foley, Hell in a Cell, then the hot stuff, Eddie Gilbert, and then last place, Ludwig Borga, because he's a piece of trash.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's definitely number 10 for me. Okay, so Daphne, Vader, put him back. Oh, then you don't have them all up there.
Yeah, I got him.
Okay.
Daphne. You said Vader.
3 would go to the original Sheik. Yes, that's 3 for sure. 4 is going to go to Muhammad Hassan.
Okay.
What am I at? 5?
Yeah, what's 5?
Billy Graham.
Oh, you're gonna go Billy Graham?
I'm trying to think of all of them now because I can't remember them. Okay, go through them again.
Billy Jack Haynes left. You got Eddie Gilbert, Tony Atlas, Ludwig Borga, Mick Foley.
Okay, so I'm at 6, right?
Yeah.
I said Billy Graham, Tony Atlas, Mick Foley. I said 10, right? So who am I left with?
You got Billy Jack Haynes, Eddie Gilbert, Tony Atlas.
No, I said Tony Atlas already.
Oh, you said Tony Atlas?
Yes.
So Billy Jack Haynes and Eddie Gilbert and the Foley one.
Foley after Atlas. So now I'm at what, 8? 8 is gonna be let's do it again. What's
Billy
the
Jack?
Okay. No, the other one.
Eddie Gilbert.
That one. Eddie Gilbert, then Billy Jack, then the last one is the
No love for Billy Jack? Come on. They interviewed him from a jail cell.
He was the last one. What do you mean?
They interviewed him from a jail cell. No, we usually do our ranking of the season in the last review. Maybe we could do one where we could do a video where we rank every episode. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe that's a good video that we could do. Go through all the episodes from every season, and then we'll pick the best ones. We'll make it like a top 10 Dark Side of the Ring episode video, maybe like that.
Okay.
But yes, that is our ranking for the episodes. Let us know your ranking. If you're still with us live, you can do it in the live chat. You could let us know in the comments down below. If you're watching us on demand, what did you think about season 6 of Dark Side of the Ring, and what was your ranking for every episode of the season? We appreciate y'all in the live chat who joined us live here. Chris says, I really need to sit down and watch them fully, do work, but I did watch some of the episodes. This was a good season. This was a good season of Dark Side.
I think it was better than last season.
I think so. I think you might be right. Hello World says that was a good one, Billy Jack. I know, come on. Why doesn't more people have love for the fact we interview someone from a jail cell? Yes, he is a bad person and he is a liar, but we interview some. He had his lawyer on the side. We're never gonna. I don't know if we're ever gonna have an episode of Dark Side of the Ring like that again.
To be honest, I think we shouldn't even put that one in the category because it was in a whole different category of itself. I think when you and I were doing that, we was like, I don't even know how we can compare this to any of the episodes because we've never had an episode like this. So we cannot really rank it with the others because it's nowhere near those episodes.
This was like one of those Netflix documentaries.
Yeah. It was like the Tiger King and just like some like real crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even like rank it and just like, cause that's why I was like, I feel so bad because it was like, we were just sitting there. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Like,
I did not know that. Shawn Michaels' first match was with Billy Jack also. Look at that. Look at that.
Damn.
Apparently.
Did they say that in the
No,
show?
they didn't.
No.
They didn't mention that. I don't think they mentioned that in the episode. Good tidbit right there. Hello world. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
But yes, if you haven't already, go back and watch all of our reviews of Dark Side of the Ring season 6. We did a review on every single episode. The Billy Jack Haynes episode, we had a lot to say about the outrageousness of that one. Our most recent review was on the Scream Queen, Daphne, probably the most emotional episode of the season, and both of our best episode of season 6. One of the better episodes as well was the original Sheik, hearing from Sabu. You had Eddie Gilbert. I did that one solo. Also did the Tony Atlas episode solo, but that was another good one there. The Ludwig Borga episode, the Hellraiser from Helsinki, the Billy Graham episode, as well as Vader and Mick Foley. Check out all of our reviews of Dark Side of the Ring season 6, and we appreciate y'all. If you have been watching, if you've been following along, we appreciate all the support that we got throughout this season of Dark Side of the Ring. And check out all the other episodes and all the other reviews that we have broken down for every episode of this series, our favorite series that we do here on True Heel Heat. And I want to thank Miss Krissy Love for another season in the books, now 6 seasons in on Dark Side of the Ring.
I can't believe 6 seasons. Jesus.
It's crazy. Since the pandemic, we've been doing
this. We've been doing this since the pandemic. Wow.
Oh, thank you for the update, Power Driver. Thank you for the update. He says I'm halfway through the first season of Yellow Jackets. Love it. Finger point. Indeed. We got to give him a finger point. We got to do a finger point here.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Yeah, you were on the right side. You were on the right side. You were there. You go.
No, I wasn't.
You gotta get closer. No. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. Your camera is gonna be the opposite. Go to. You were at the right way. You were on the right way. There you go. All right, now come closer. Make sure your fingertip is outside the frame. There we go. Now we're touching tips. There we go. I love it. I'm on the opposite.
You was on the opposite, but it's whatever. But let us know
the way I see it, that was the way.
Let us know how you feel about it when you finish, okay? And then if you have the same feelings as we do, I'll go back and watch our breakdown because, I don't want to sway you, but I can. But I really don't have to because you'll see why.
You'll see. But yes, check that out.
Cheers to All American, one of the last season. We're coming back.
Yes, we got to do that. We'll do that in the next couple of weeks, but we also got BMF starts on Friday, so that'll probably be the next thing that we have to review is the season premiere of BMF over on True Heel Heat Sports and Entertainment. So join us over there for that. I also wanted to give an update because I think it was like Ace or some other people in the True Heel Heat Sports and Entertainment chat that told me to watch this, and I am completed season 1 and I'm halfway through season 2 of The Chi. It's on Disney Plus out here.
Yes.
So I've been catching up.
Oh yeah, you gotta catch up.
I'm midway through season 2.
Too.
I still got like 5 seasons to catch up, but I'm halfway through season 2. I've been working very hard.
Because the latest season, which is season 7, was on episode 3, and I have my thoughts and my concern. Okay, so catch up, friend. Let us know how you feel. Oh, you got a lot of time to catch up. But
yeah, I got a lot of time, but I kind of know what's going on in season 7 because I've been watching. The reason what made me really watch Shy was also not only the people in the chat, was watching all the shorts on YouTube, because that's how I got into All American. I watched a lot of the series before I started actually watching the series, but from watching shorts. And that's what happens with the Shy. I watched a lot of the stuff that I'm watching now. I was like, oh, I've seen this in a short. And and then because you watch it in the short for the older seasons, the newer season comes up. So I know Reg is back in the new season. So it's good to see that. I know that much. So yeah.
Jake is an asshole. Jake is a piece of shit.
Oh, Jake just keeps it real. Jake might be my favorite character on this show. little hoodlum. This little hoodlum.
Jake, the Jake has one of those characters that has evolved from where he was to now where he is at now. So you'll see that, and it's I like that we're talking, of course, but again, it's like something like All American. It was mostly catered around the kids.
Yeah.
Then the adults were like the backstory. So I think they're coming back to like showcasing and showing Kevin and the kids, and like you'll see. Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna catch up. I'm gonna
Jim
catch
is
up. And then we'll probably have to do a character tier list on that.
Yes,
that. So,
absolutely, for sure.
We'll be, and I did post our character tier list for Yellow Jackets up on my Twitter yesterday. So go
and
over
did you get a lot of?
Okay,
did a lot of people give reactions?
I only got reactions from my missus, and my missus was like, "No, you guys were right." She agreed with the S tier, and she agreed with Shauna being at the end of the tier completely. So yeah,
both of them.
Both Shaunas, yes, young Shauna and adult Shauna. To the back you go. But yes, that is our outro there. But Miss Krissy Love, let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and when they shall see you again.
Thanks, guys. Come back and see us on Saturday at 10:05 a.m. for our flagship show of True Hill Heat. Thank you again for watching. We'll probably be doing BMF next week for that review. Other than that, Krissy Love _1, True Hill Krissy Love, and just my plain name. Thanks.
There you go. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at True Hill SP3. You can follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at True Hill Heat. Patreon.com/True Hill Heat. $3 a month gets you exclusive content. We'll have our TNA Against All Odds preview up probably tomorrow, right before the show on Friday for sure. So go over and check that out as well. And of course, you can check out all the great content we got on the channel right now. Like yesterday, me and Top Guy JJ with our Monday Night Raw review, Rated Raw review number 70. We Want Truth, talking all about Stephanie Vacquea's official debut on Monday Night Raw. We got our Truth, the special emergency stream that we did on Sunday about him leaving the WWE after his contract was not renewed. And also check out our NJPW Best of Super Juniors 32 final review with myself, Jay News, and Sanal from earlier this week.
Is that the guy that won?
Yeah, Kosei Fujita.
The
one we all picked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. But we already got a lot to discuss on Saturday because you got R-Truth's release, R-Truth not being renewed, Carlito not being renewed, Valhalla not being renewed, Mariah May debuting on NXT last night. We're going to be talking about that.
She doesn't have a name yet.
Saturday.
Just want to put that out there.
She was giving the Ricky Starks treatment. Mariah June. Don't worry. Mariah June.
Okay.
She debuted in June. But we're going to discuss all of that as well as tonight's 4-hour AEW Fighter Fest event. We'll be talking about that on Saturday. And of course, you could join me and Jimmy Macaram live 1:05 p.m. No, actually, we're going to be earlier tomorrow. We're going to be here at 12:05 p.m. Eastern time with AE Ramble reviewing AEW Dynamite Fighter Fest tonight, the 4-hour special. So join us where we're going to talk about all of that. And yes, I told Jimmy. Yeah, I've told Jimmy it's 4 hours. So I told him to watch as much as he can. It's starting at 8.
Oh, so we leaving? It goes off at 12. So it's like a whole pay per view.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm not working in the morning tomorrow, so I'll watch the whole show tonight. But
have you watched was it Invincible? It's the cartoon on Amazon.
No, I have not watched that yet. I have not watched that yet.
So it's good. I've seen a few episodes because hubby has been watching. So all the episodes I keep coming in on him watching, they're actually pretty good. So I know you watched the other like cartoon shows of X-Men and another one. So yeah, I did watch X-Men. So yeah, it's a good show. Catch it.
There we go. So check that out as well, and I'll see if I'll add it to my list. I'll add it to my list. Power Driver Finisher.
Okay, there you go.
Unlike Romeo, I do check things off my list. But
Romeo has like left us and not even like love you bro, but why you gotta be lying though? You know what I'm saying? Like
he never seen it. He never seen anything. But yes,
love you though. Love you, bro.
Join us tomorrow, 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time with AE Ramble. But until then, for Miss Krissy Love, it is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. This has been our Dark Side of the Ring Season 6 finale, Episode 10, Becoming Muhammad Hassan review. We are signing off until next time.
Laters.